Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey folks, good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill Toyota. As you may imagine, we have got a lot to get to this morning as we continue with the storm damage cleanup here in Kanawha County. Now, it's currently raining, but the good news is that we just have the flash flood watch in effect. We still have a lot of people without power, but it looks like the severe weather, and by severe I mean what we saw yesterday, 90-some mile per hour winds, not a threat today. That is good news. Throughout the show, we're going to be, and by the way, if this is just kind of an open line, open text thing, if you want to call us and tell us about what's going on in your neighborhood, you're certainly welcome to. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858, or you can text us, Truth Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. We are going to be talking to some folks from the city of Charleston coming up a little bit later on. I've got some garbage information I need to get out to you, and we've actually posted that at several places this morning, just so you know. Also, we have all three Kanawha County Commissioners on the show today, and a little bit later on, Delegate Mike Pushkin will be stopping by as well. Let me bring into the show Kanawha County Commissioner Kent Carper, who's on the phone with us this morning. Commissioner Carper, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning.
Wish you were under better circumstances. I also have the other two commissioners. They're in studio with me, Commissioner Ben Salango and Commissioner President Lance Wheeler. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Appreciate you all being here. Commissioner Carper, let's start with you. You've seen a few of these storms throughout your time in office, but I don't know that we saw anything quite like what we saw yesterday. Maybe the derecho would come just about as close. Your thoughts?
Well, it would come close, and the last big flood would come close. But the truth of the matter is, your station, WCHS, sent out more alarms yesterday than in the history of your radio station. I mean, it was constant. This was a tremendous risk for everyone here, and we were very fortunate we didn't have a loss of life. So no matter what else is said, no matter what else somebody wants to talk about, thank God that we did not lose anybody during this. When you look at some of the signs that went down, for example, in Kanawha City, I mean, it was like a giant fly swatter. And had there been a car out in the lot or someone in it, they'd have been killed. And that was all over the county, giant trees. Now, why did that happen? I believe that one of the reasons why we didn't have significant loss of life was the warning system. The warning system worked. It worked as well as it's ever worked since we've implemented it. You know, the consolidated 911 system now is just about 20 years old this year, I believe. And the fact that we have every town, all of our fire departments, all of our police agencies, our EMS agencies, all with a unified command with one consolidated system, and the warning systems we have between the sirens and the ring downs and everything else that we have, it worked. The public was aware. Once we got, I think we activated the EOC at about 9 o'clock, and by 10:30, we had a tornado warning. So we were on top of it. When I say we, I give total credit to those that did the work, not me, not us, but them. They did the job. The 911 people performed splendidly.
Yeah, exactly. Commissioner President Wheeler and also have Commissioner Salango in studio with me this morning. Commissioner Wheeler, I know you'll echo the comments of Commissioner Carper.
Yeah, we like Commissioner Carper said, we received notification of the massive storm coming in, and it wasn't breaking down. We've been following this for the last couple of days, seeing it come across the country and come into Kentucky, and we see how the storm was building, and it wasn't breaking. And we immediately sent out a WIA. That's what the text messages, the notifications you see on your phone. Mm-hmm. We had the sirens go off, and C.W. Sigmund, director of our emergency management, has been going around last night and talking to people, and they've said that the sirens saved their life. That they were out with their kids, they heard the sirens, they got the notification, and they were immediately able to find shelter and save themselves. And I think that if it wasn't for the siren and everything from the news, WCHS here sending out the alerts, that storm came in quickly. It was calm. And then 90 miles per hour wind. And so having that announcement that early to tell people get shelter, because people here in Kanawha County, and southern people, we like to look at the storm as it comes.
Yes.
And so
I saw the memes on social media, I'm sure you did too, of people like sitting on the store, sitting on the roof or sitting on the front porch watching. But you're right, that's kind of what we do in southern West Virginia.
And I'm one of those people. I like to be on my front porch watching the rain come in. But when that siren goes off, you know that this is serious and you need to get shelter. And this isn't just residential. This was daycares. This was schools. I mean, we saw damage at the Pratt Elementary School with the roof coming off, the rubber roof flowing off because of these winds. If it wasn't for that shelter in place, I think Commissioner Carper's right. We were lucky we did not have any casualties, fatalities yesterday. And if it wasn't for that, we may have.
Well, I think there were some very close calls. The billboard out in Dunbar that came over onto that guy's car. But when I was downtown when the storm hit, and before the siren went off, I was getting text messages about what was coming. I looked outside, and Capitol Street was packed. I mean, there were people walking around. It was sunny. It was hard to believe that in the next 30 minutes that we were going to have a storm like that roll in, and it did. But those warning sirens got people off the streets, and I think that's what saved lives. Our Metro 911 did a great job. They fielded over 1,600 calls in less than 4 hours. Which, if you can imagine that kind of call volume, they did a wonderful job. Our entire team, the city of Charleston, did a great job. I know their firefighters, their police officers were out, battling this. Our sheriff's department was out battling this. They did a tremendous job, so hats off to them.
Commissioner Carper, let's go back to you just for a couple of moments. A Herculean effort yesterday, by as the other commissioners said, by everybody involved in this. But where are we now? What are you hearing about? Again, we have rain in the forecast today. We do have a flood watch, but thankfully nothing like what we saw yesterday. What are you hearing from the various areas out there now, sir?
Well, what I'm hearing, and I've, of course, been around for a while, people are very concerned about property damage to their home, their business. They're relieved that no one got hurt or killed. When I say no one got hurt, actually several people got hurt. I think we transported 17 storm-related injuries with the Kanawha County Emergency Ambulance Authority alone, but none of them appear to be life-threatening. So what I'm hearing right now is people want to know what to do next. So what we've done, and right in the middle of this, we were in contact directly with Governor Justice's office, and the governor himself reached out to Kanawha County like he does many times, knowing we were getting hit pretty good. So we'll try to go after a FEMA declaration for disaster declaration. We'll see if that will give people aid. But one good thing about a windstorm, as opposed to a flood, generally speaking, your insurance will pay for damage, for wind damage. So that's a big, huge difference. If you have insurance, you should, and you've got wind damage, whether it's your roof, whether it's your fence, whatever it is, you should check and see if you've got insurance. That will be very important to make yourself whole again after this terrible storm.
Commissioner Carper, you mentioned that you're one that's been around for a while and you've seen a few of these storms. Just one street over from us here, sir, on Courier Street, down from the music shop and where the building that was next to where Danny Jones had his restaurant, just to see those bricks out on the street. It was a surreal situation after the storm, sir. I've
never seen anything like that in downtown Charleston. I've seen bad wind damages. I've seen flooding. I've seen all types of things. I've never seen that type of wind damage all over the place. That is frightening. That's what one of my persons told me, friend, that they were frightened over this, and I'd be frightened too if they were down there when the bricks were raining down on their car.
Yeah, I mean, again, floods are, and we've certainly seen our share of a fair share of them in West Virginia, gentlemen, but floods are one thing, as Commissioner Carper said, but when it comes to flying debris and things of that nature, you can avoid water to a certain extent, but you couldn't avoid what we saw yesterday, Ben.
And I don't remember there being structural damage from the derecho from whenever that was, 10, 12, 15 years
2012,
ago. I don't
yeah.
remember there being any buildings come down. But we've had, you look at what happened to South Charleston, Gestamp, the roof came off, Joey Holland's new construction over there had significant damage, lots of trees, which happened during the last derecho. But this one seemed to pack a bigger punch, at least for when it first rolled into Charleston, when I saw it. And I had not seen structural damage to buildings. The old Stone and Thomas building down on Lee Street, the windows were blown out. One of my friends who has a law office downtown, windows blew out and actually created like a vacuum effect in his office and pulled a door off the hinges.
Jeez.
Which, we hadn't seen that before.
I mean, go ahead, Commissioner Carper.
No, we haven't. And Ben, why don't you let them know what the status is of Shawnee? We've never seen anything like that before.
No, it was a lot worse than what I first thought. We've got 4 scoreboards on our front soccer fields. 3 of the 4 are on the ground right now. Our flagpole's over, which is easily fixed, but we've got turf damage. We have fence damage. The perimeter fence is down. There is a lot of work, and we've got a major tournament coming in this weekend. 200 teams flying in from Canada. It's going to be a $10 to $12 million event. So we're out there working right now, trying to get it, ready for play.
And that tournament is going to go on.
It's going on,
as far as you know, yeah.
Yeah, Kent on the baseball side, we lost the roof on a dugout or two, which they're going to try to fix. Got some trees down, but the goal is right now we're going to play the tournament because I think it's still operational. The facility's still operational. And the issues with the turf is not actually on the playing surface. It's outside of the playing surface. So hopefully we'll be able to prevent injuries. We'll just put cones up around those.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Commissioner Wheeler, President Wheeler?
When we talk about the recovery, people ask me about these disasters, and I always say the real work comes after the storm's passed. And I think we're seeing that today. We're seeing that here in the next couple of days and even weeks. But when we talk about Shawnee, we talk about the destruction on some of these buildings. One of the things that we're going to be focusing on is making sure that we get that declaration from FEMA so we can get assistance to the people of Kanawha County as soon as possible. I was on the phone this morning with C.W. Sigmund with Emergency Management in Kanawha County, and he tells me that we've already been in touch with the state. Jim Justice's office and Emergency Management of the state will be working with us, and hopefully working with the Red Cross, we're going to get a survey done to be able to go out and assess some of this damage. So to the listeners out there, if you have anyone that comes to your front steps or your property asking you about a survey, please answer this, because this is the evidence that we use moving forward for the federal government to come in with FEMA for that assistance. We see the damage, as Commissioner Salango and Carper has been mentioning about, you can see it and how devastating this storm was, but we have to prove this in D.C. And so we have to have this evidence ready, and the sooner we can collect this evidence and show how much damage was really done and why it's important for FEMA to come in here with some small business loans and just general assistance with the public. Let's talk about the utilities. We were having water and sewer facilities calling Metro saying, hey, we're running on generator right now, but we don't know how long we can run on it, and if we lose the generator, the whole plant will go down. I mean, these were some of the things that Metro 911 was working, and I was fortunate enough to see it firsthand, being in there with our telecommunicators, taking these calls. And the best way I can describe this is organized chaos. I mean, there's no other way that they were able to handle the 1,600 calls in 4 hours, as Commissioner Salango mentioned, and being able to talk people through, get their emergency, prioritize it. We were getting a lot of people calling Metro just to tell us, hey, my neighbor's fence fell over. And of course, we're understanding that you want to call Metro 911 to tell us that, but we have to prioritize some of these calls because we were having entrapments, we were having roads were blocked. We were trying to list those to get those to the Department of Highways so we can get those roads open. We were trying to work with the school system to make sure that, let's say a school bus goes out and tries to take a kid home, and the road's blocked.
And we had, I was on the air late yesterday afternoon with Jeff Jenkins. We had Superintendent of Schools Tom Williams on, and we had that very situation there yesterday, where there were places that they just could, the parents or the school buses just simply couldn't get to those areas.
And we were working with the school system with that, making sure that if the school bus had to go back and a parent could not come and pick up the kid, was there going to be food there? Was there going to be power at the school? We were working with those logistics. There was a lot of moving parts going on, and I think the accomplishment of what we saw from our first responders and Metro 911 yesterday really just shows how important it is that we continue these investments that we've been doing, and in the sirens, in the Metro 911, and our employees. I'm proud of everything that they did, and I know I can speak as the commission. We're very proud of them.
Yeah, we've got a lot of cleanup to go, and the governor is due to do a media briefing at 11 o'clock this morning, and I'm sure he's going to address that. Commissioner Carper, before we let you go, because I know you got some things to do, any final words from you, sir?
Well, what we do now, following our normal protocol, is we will establish a telephone number. We will have our folks will be going out doing damage assessments. We will be working with the FEMA and the state, our partners, Red Cross, whoever. We will be sending the number out, and if anyone is listening to us right now and is in distress, they don't have electric, and they feel that they're in danger, that their parents are elderly, no one's taking care of them, then just call 911. I got in trouble one time for that. I know a little bit about the 911 system. That's what it's for. So if you've got someone in distress over this storm, or you can't get to them, or you're worried about them, or you just don't know what to do, just call 911 and we'll send somebody.
All right, Commissioner Carper, I appreciate you joining us this morning. As I said, you're a veteran of this sort of stuff. I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot.
I've seen too much, to be honest about it.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Kent Carper. It is 9:23. Text says, Dave, Kanawha County Commission are the best. When we flooded on Campbell's Creek, they were there that day helping people. Can't say that about the state of West Virginia, says a texter. Texter says, the outpouring of help, support, and love we all have for each as neighbors, and honestly, our statewide West Virginia family that we saw yesterday is who we are as Americans when we don't focus on D or R after a name and don't let others dictate and define who we are as human beings. Love to everyone. God bless. Good way to put it. Good way to go into break there. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Hudson's Pizza. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad, only $20.99 at your favorite Hudson's location. We're going to take a break. I've got the Goodwin Chief of Staff, Matt Sutton, who's going to be up next, and a little bit later on, we've got Delegate Mike Pushkin will be stopping by the studio as well. Commissioners, hang out with me here just 1 second. We're back right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Hi, I'm David McCormick, owner of Omega Commercial Interiors. We'd like to thank you, West Virginia, for making us the #1 office furniture and commercial interiors company in West Virginia. Remember, when you're looking for quality office furniture and space planning for healthcare, corporate offices, or even a private office, call us and buy local. Omega Commercial Interiors. We're a proud West Virginia company. Visit us online at omegacommercialinteriors.com in Morgantown and Charleston.
Thanks to the leadership of State Senator Eric Nelson, West Virginia's economy is stronger than ever. State Senator Eric Nelson helped control government spending and then passed the largest tax cut in state history. The Coalition for a Stronger West Virginia would like to thank State Senator Eric Nelson for standing up for our families. West Virginians have more jobs and lower taxes, all due to State Senator Eric Nelson, paid for by the Coalition for a Stronger West Virginia, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
We need real conservatives in the House of Delegates. We need Mark Carter in District 57.
Hi, I am Mark Carter. As a conservative lawyer, I am a strong supporter of life, faith, and the Second Amendment.
Mark Carter was appointed to national offices by both President Donald Trump and President George W. Bush. Let's elect a new conservative Republican to the House.
I am Mark Carter, and I would appreciate your vote for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
926 phone calls to the show, a service of Piggly Wiggly. Texting service provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. Text says, Dave, all the Metro 911 dispatchers deserve a raise and better benefits while we're at it. Well, the guys who can do that no, I'm just kidding right now. I do have the county commissioners. I have two of the three left. I have Ben Salango and Commission President Lance Wheeler. We're going to get to Matt Sutton, Chief of Staff for the Goodwin administration, coming up momentarily. Plus, a little bit later on, Delegate Mike Pushkin will be stopping by. Guys, I know you guys have got some cleanup and things that you got to get to. Want to give you an opportunity to say any final words. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I agree with whoever texted that our telecommunicators need a raise. But let me say this: Commissioner Carper and Commissioner Wheeler have worked very hard to make sure that the retirement bill went through this year. So that was a big event for them. So now they actually have retirement. We've had a lot of trouble retaining 911 telecommunicators. It's an incredibly stressful job, very difficult job. As you saw from yesterday, and I think they even did a little video from inside command center yesterday while they were doing that. So, we appreciate all them. It's remarkable that we didn't have any fatalities yesterday. Yeah. When that came through, I thought we were going to have some. I attribute that to our first responders and that warning system that we had. Yeah,
and I was actually in the building yesterday and heard I'll tell my story a little bit later on, but yesterday, because you always let people know when we're doing the testing of those tornado sirens, but to hear them for real yesterday was like, oh crap, this is the real thing. So they definitely did their job yesterday. And let me throw this out here real quick, because I talked to Matt Sutton about this a little bit earlier, and again, Matt's standing by. I'll get to him in a couple of moments. As it pertains to trash service in Charleston, and this is in Kanawha City, the crews are out doing their best. It's business as usual, as the mayor put it, when it comes to trash pickup in Kanawha City, but there are some streets, some alleys that may be blocked. They're going to do their best to try to get to those. If they don't get to them because of that, they're making a note, and they will go back and take care of that trash service. Commissioner President Wheeler.
Well, speaking of trash, this is something we already had scheduled on the books, and it's kind of going to work out for the timing of it. But we're going to have our spring cleanup. The Kanawha County Commission always has a spring and fall cleanup. A lot of people are aware of it, and it's something that we get asked about day in and day out. And so actually this Saturday, April 6th, in Sissonville, located in Sissonville Drive and Kasdorf Road, we're going to be having our spring cleanup. It's going to be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're going to be taking solid waste, large appliances, air conditioners, computers, metals, car batteries, electronics. The only thing we're asking people that they cannot bring is gas, propane tanks, hazardous wastes, paint, chemicals, or motor oil. So if it's not one of those that I just listed that we cannot accept, you can bring it. It's free of charge. We get a lot of people that come out to these, so we always ask people to come early, because I think we're going to see a large line, especially due to all the destruction we saw from the storm yesterday. Mm-hmm. But this is just an excellent opportunity that the Kanawha County Commission always offers for people to be able to get some of this trash and debris moved away. We originally do this to make sure that this trash doesn't end up in rivers, in embankments, causing more flooding. This is just a way to clean up the county. And so no questions asked. Come, bring a driver's license just to make sure that we can verify you. And if you've got recyclables or trash, we'll take care of the cleanup.
All right, guys, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. One thing I did want to ask you guys, and this I don't want to catch you off guard on this, but this is totally unrelated to the storm yesterday. The announcement became official yesterday that the postal facility is going to be closing. Conspiracy theorist that I am, saying, well, we've got all this storm activity going on, and they decide to put that release out there yesterday in the middle of all this. Maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know, but it was made official that postal facility will be closing, despite the public meetings, despite the work of Senator Manchin and Capito. It is going to be closing. Any comments from either one of you on that?
We worked with Senator Manchin and Senator Capito's office on this. We sent numerous letters. This was something that outside of the control of the Kanawha County Commission. Yeah. This was a federal matter, but we did everything we can to voice our input. I know Commissioner Salango was working hand in hand on this one and having conversations with the union and working with some of the employees and the offices. But this is just another moment where we're losing opportunity when we gain opportunity. Sometimes it feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So though that this announcement was made, rest assured the Kanawha County Commission will continue to fight, because nothing's permanent in the federal government and decisions, and we can always continue to fight and see if we can bring that back.
All right. Guys, I will leave it there. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys. Commissioner President Lance Wheeler and County Commissioner Ben Salango, also earlier Commissioner Kent Carper. Thanks, guys, for being here. Now get to work because you got a lot of work to do now. Speaking of a lot of work, let me cover this first. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. If you're planning a project this spring, please shop locally. They're also doing some hiring. Stop by any location for details. Visit generalhardwarewv.com. From the Goodwin administration, Chief of Staff Matt Sutton is here. Matt, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning. I do want to before we get to the storm, to echo the comments about the Postal Service. And we were obviously very busy yesterday, so I'll go ahead and quote Senator Capito when she said, with over 2,800 public comments submitted by West Virginians, I do wish USPS had listened and taken those concerns into account fully. I think we echo that as well. I mean, the mayor was at a lot of those meetings and was out with the Postal Union a lot, and I know Senator Capito and Senator Manchin worked very hard, and it's disappointing. It didn't seem like they listened, but it also seems like they're still going to fight. So, as the commission said, we'll be sitting in that fight with them as well.
Well, the union president said, by the way, we have a story posted about it at WVMetroNews.com. The union president said something to the effect of, we don't consider this a defeat, it's just a little bit of a setback. So
yes, I read that this morning.
We'll have to see what happens about that. But again, the story's posted on that at WVMetroNews.com. What a day, Matthew, in the city of Charleston yesterday. It
was a day. I will echo exactly. I won't go back through it, but I will echo what the county commissioner said, in that the alarm system worked perfectly. I think that we were all kind of planning on it for a little later in the day, and then all of a sudden, here it was. Mm-hmm. And so I was literally standing over in the street over on the west side talking to a friend of mine, and they were like, "What are these sirens?" I said, "They mean you need to go inside." Mm-hmm. You need to go inside, and got back to the city hall. Of course, I was one of those people that was kind of like, "Well, let me stand out here and look at this for a little bit." And then the wind came, and then it was to get inside. But it was tremendous communication, and I think not only to the public with the sirens and with the text messages, but also internally. Because one thing to think about is we had this shelter in place. That also means that that is everybody. So that meant our police department was sheltered in place, our fire department was sheltered in place, our street department. And what we needed was some kind of assurance that when they could go back out, right? When could they get back out into the streets? And that was, again, all the credit in the world to the Metro 911 and especially C.W. Sigmund, because I can remember the mayor saying very vividly to somebody who said, "Can we go?" And she said, "We'll go when C.W. tells us we can go." And that's how much we all trust each other and trust C.W. in these situations. And because, once the storm was clear enough for our street departments to get out, our fire department to get out, our police department to get out, it was just one of those really eerie moments where everything was very quiet, and then it got really noisy once everybody got to get out into the streets and assess the damage. Again, thankfully, no major injuries, but we have a lot of cleanup to do today. A couple things for me to hit on. I hate to read on the air, Dave, you know that, but a couple of them that I better go ahead and do. The Kanawha City Rec Center is closed today due to a power outage, so that's not going to be open to folks. Everybody else is. Yesterday we had North Charleston Rec Center was down for a little bit, but it has power today. So the Kanawha City Community Center is closed. You already hit on the trash service that will continue as is. And as it relates to downed power lines and trees, our crews are out working diligently to remove the storm debris removal. But please be patient. If new issues have come up that you haven't already called about, please call 304-348-6850. If there are active power lines involved, please call 911. If not, and it's just a tree or something in the road, please call us through that. Don't touch down power lines. And most importantly, understand the patience. We can get very quickly to down trees and roads, and especially major roads. We can get to them very quickly, assuming there are power lines involved. But when there are power lines involved, that's when it slows down the process a little bit. Obviously, the power company is working as fast as they can. But most of the tree damage we had yesterday involved some kind of power line. It's just how it operates and how it works. So it's going to be a day of assessment. The mayor's heading into Kanawha City right now. She's out with our public work folks trying to figure out exactly the damage and how we can get it cleaned up as fast as we can. But really and truly communicating with us, communicating with the county, and letting us know where the debris is, but understanding that when there are power lines involved, that we've got to take all precautions to make sure that we don't harm anybody or cause more damage that's already there.
Something, and again, we're talking with Goodwin Chief of Staff Matt Sutton. One of the things that occurred to me, Matt, last night was we live, and not to be too philosophical, but we live in an era where we're all connected now, and we have the emergency systems that we talked about. Everybody gets alerts on their phones and so on and so forth. But even over the last 30 or 40 years. We've had the emergency, what I know is the old emergency broadcast system, which is now the emergency alert system. And so very few weather phenomenons take us by surprise as they did once before. One of the good things of technology. But imagine, again, this means absolutely nothing to anybody but me, but I think about these things. Imagine what this would have been 70, 80 years ago. I mean, with this kind of a storm that rolled through, because this is, and I think, in talking to meteorologists Brian Hughes and Spencer Adkins and some of these weather folks that are a lot more knowledgeable about this than what you and I are, this is going to be one that they're going to be studying for a long time, because very rarely do we have, quote unquote, pardon the pun, the perfect storm. Yeah. And that's what this was yesterday. They started predicting this thing last week, saying we got concerns about Tuesday. And we're focusing on the storm here, Matt, that hit Charleston, right? Around 10:45 to 11:15 or so yesterday morning, the cleanup thereafter. But even last night, this system persisted. I was watching television last night and watching the coverage in areas like Scioto County, Ohio, and Pike County, Ohio, and in those places. Yeah. So this was a big old weather system, and we're still seeing issues out of it now. Not nearly, thankfully, what we did yesterday, but we still have the flood watch. Mm-hmm. We're expecting, the wind, and so when I left my house this morning at 7 o'clock, the wind would knock you down out there still this morning. This is one that they're going to be looking at for a while. Yeah, it's going to be, it's something that people will, and I know that's essentially what happened after the derecho as well, right? It's to study, to prepare for the next time, and I think that's what we're really good at, and that's what we need to do. You say that, like, I when this kind of sort of came up on us, and I think everybody was ready for it, but then, of course, you can always say you're ready for it, and then the minutes that it happens, nobody's ever ready for it. But, I have friends that I played tennis with that live down in Ashland, Kentucky, and I was texting them to see what was going on down there, mm-hmm. because they touched down there first, and just to follow the storm and how quickly it got from there to here. And I don't really, I'm with you. I'd prefer not to think about what happens if we didn't have the alerts, because I think it would have been devastating. It really would have been, because, it is funny to see the memes that you referenced where, we're all standing out in the street, but that's how we are. We all know it. It's fun. It's only funny because it's true. And we all would have been standing there looking at the storm. I mentioned during our coverage yesterday afternoon, and I kind of stuck around to help Jeff and the folks out a little bit yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, I was upstairs, and our morning guy on our sister station, Superstar Country 96.1 KWS, Rob Reel. Rob is from Indiana, and Rob and I were sitting in his office up there, which is on the, I guess would be considered the third floor here, mm-hmm. and there's a window that overlooks the parking lot. And now, of course, you look out that window, you see a power pole that's bent sideways out that window right now. But we were up there and just kind of being radio guys, laughing and joking and whatever. And then I saw Rob get up, and I saw him look out the window, and he looked at me and said, "It's time to go to the basement." Yep. I said, all right, well, when the guy from Indiana looks at me and says, "It's time to go to the basement," it's time to go to the basement. Yeah, because we were just kind of laughing, not really laughing it off, but just kind of, okay, well, we'll wait for the storm to pass. And when Rob Reel, who's from Indiana, says, "We need to get downstairs," then I'm gonna listen to what he has to say. Well, I would say my wife was on an airplane and was out at Yeager and sitting in an airplane, and when the sirens were going off, and she called and said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, it's a tornado warning. Where are you?" She said, "I'm sitting on the airplane." I said, "Well, get off. get off." And so she said, "Okay, let me see what's going on." And then 2 minutes later, she texted me and she goes, "I can't. They just shut the door and said we're leaving." And they probably left 90 seconds before everything hit. Wow. And literally, she said, the pilot just said, "We're getting out of here, folks. Let's go." So, everybody's going to have those stories. But and that I think is the kind of the amazing part. I was kind of looking out in the street. I was like, this is weird. Like, I don't really see anything. And then all of a sudden, you felt the wind. And that's the kicker. I think you kind of alluded to it earlier. Water causes a lot of damage, and flooding obviously has devastated many of our communities, including Charleston and key parts of Charleston over on the west side and others. And we always have flooding issues, but the wind was really what it was, because there's no hiding from that. And it was just to kind of look down and see what had happened when it was all over. We had the billboard flew off over in Kanawha City there by 35th Street Bridge. We weren't sure when it first initially happened whether it had crushed the Wendy's building and could somebody be inside. But getting there was hard because there were so many roads that were blocked. So being able to find that out, we have damage. Obviously, what happened on Courier Street that you alluded to earlier with the bricks coming off the building. All those things could have happened with somebody underneath them and didn't. Yeah. And so that's the key to all this. We can fix stuff
It's going to take us some time, but we're out there working hard. I know our folks are out there. And we do appreciate everything from the county commissioner to the governor's office to all of our. I could see I know you got Delegate Pushkin coming here who was checking on us all day yesterday and asking how they can help. Like, we have an amazing community, and I think that's the one thing that we can always lean on. I only know what I know. I've worked in Charleston and Kanawha County in West Virginia my entire life. Man, nobody comes together better, and it's all personal differences aside or whatever it is. It's all about helping people, and that kicked into gear yesterday, and it was as flawless as it could be given the circumstances. That's the best way I could put it. And again, thanks to everybody out at Metro, because they took a lot of calls because the radios were dead silent until they weren't. And then they were on, and we can just, and then also I think this is also a time when you have really active members and elected officials in the community, because we just started text chains with city council members. You tell us what you're hearing, get it to us, one central location. We put everything in our system and got it out. And that really worked well yesterday with a lot of our council folks who were just saying, please don't. It's not a Facebook time. This is a time to gather information and send it to us so that we can assess what's really going on out there. And I thought we saw a lot of that yesterday, because the last thing you want to do in those type of situations yesterday is to get into a social media battle where people were, I know there were fake photos flying around and all kinds of stuff.
I saw a few of those.
Yeah, we don't. That's not necessary. There's enough real damage out there, but real communication was the key, and that's what we had yesterday. And now it's going to be a lot of work. The rain's not going to help anything in the cleanup, but it's better than what we saw yesterday. For sure.
Right, man. I know you got to get back to work. I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
It's 9:43. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. We spend 90% of our time indoors, and our health risk for air pollution can be greater indoors than out. Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in West Virginia for asbestos and mold. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can hurt you. Talk to Delegate Mike Pushkin when we come back right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses live to make life better for you and your family.
Buckle up. Adventure will never be the same on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Ready, set, go. Hey, it's Sydney inviting you to the new Thornhill Toyota for our amazing deals during the Toyota National Sales Event. Just imagine you in a new 2024 Toyota Camry, Corolla, or all-new Crown. Or step up with a Toyota SUV like a new 2024 RAV4 or Highlander Gas, where you can enjoy 3.99% financing for 60 months. So many possibilities. Ready, set, go to the new Thornhill Toyota on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 in Chapmanville. Click or come by ThornhillToyotaWV.com and let's go places. Must qualify for all offers through Toyota Financial. Expires April 1st, 2024. Shop Thornhill to get yours.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Hey, aren't you that chef that's running for magistrate?
I am the chef that's running for magistrate. I'm incumbent magistrate Gary Sheff, SHEFF. I'm the only chef on the ballot. I'd appreciate your vote and the opportunity to continue to serve Kanawha County as Division 9 Magistrate.
This message is paid for by the Committee to Keep Magistrate Gary Sheff, Greg Silverman, Treasurer.
Thank you for your support. I'm Gary Sheff, and I approve this message.
15 away from 10, the impact of Special Olympics extends far beyond the athletes themselves. Volunteers and supporters touched by the unwavering determination of these extraordinary individuals find immeasurable fulfillment in their involvement. This inclusive approach embraced by Special Olympics fosters an environment where everyone plays a vital role. West Virginia, enriched in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. And the Dave Allen Show brought to you part by Fresh Air. They will change those heating and cooling unit air filters for your home, your retail establishment, whatever. 24-hour emergency service is available too. Give them a call at 304-440-1104 or visit freshairfilters.us, because everyone deserves fresh air. Matt Sutton on the way out the door said, oh, I forgot to mention one thing, so go ahead, Matt.
Yep. The county mentioned their cleanup up in Sissonville. The city of Charleston also has a cleanup this weekend in Kanawha City and South Hills in particular that was already scheduled for Saturday, April 6th, starting at 9 a.m. It was supposed to last till 1, but my guess is it's going to last a lot longer this year. You can come to the Kanawha City Rec Center and pick up supplies. You can use those at your home as well, or go around the streets and pick up. These historically have been ones where a lot of folks gather and then go out in the communities and gather trash, and then our folks pick it up. But this will also be a great opportunity if you do have debris you do have stuff that you need to get out of your alleys or out of your streets, just bag it up, put it there. Our refuse drivers will be out there picking up everything that we can. Hopefully, the power obviously and the streets will be clearer by then. But Saturday, April 6th from 9 to 1 is the plan. Kanawha City Rec Center come out and help clean up both of our communities in Kanawha City and South Hills, because right now those the ones that look like they need it the most.
All right.
Perfect timing.
All right, Matt, I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, be able to know Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. They can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships for more information. Delegate Mike Pushkin is here. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, well, here's the funny story about Mr. Pushkin. He was scheduled to be on with Dave Wilson, who's in for Hoppy this week on Talk Line. And that, I guess, what was your situation? Were you about to go on, or had you I was upstairs. I didn't even know you were in the building.
I was exactly where you are sitting right now, so possibly the safest place to be in the entire state, in Dave Allen's chair.
But so you didn't make the appearance yesterday on Wilson, is that right?
I was on for a few minutes, and then I was on the air when the gust of wind came through and the power went out.
Mm-hmm. So now you coming back on Wilson today? Are you going to be on the show today?
Yeah, he invited me back on. Very nice of him to invite me back on. Yeah, I was. I was on my way here. I guess I live under a rock. I was not like a lot of people. I wasn't aware of what was coming, and I was on my way here, and my phone started going off, and driving, but glanced at it, saw what was going on, and then the warning sirens started going off. I was actually driving right by them on the boulevard as they were going off, and I was like, this is not good. But you know what? A credit to everybody. First of all, you just had Matt Sutton on from the city of Charleston. They have done a tremendous job, and first assessing the damage, and now with the cleanup. I mean, can't say enough good things about the refuse department, streets department, our first responders, the Charleston Police Department, fire department. They're just doing a tremendous job right now. On my way in, I passed the commissioners. The county is doing an excellent job, and there's a great job going on across the state in an effort to clean up after this just crazy weather event that we had yesterday.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, I was on my way here, and luckily got in the building right before that it hit.
Yeah, and you got to hang out with us for a little bit yesterday. Once we came out of the basement, I could walk up, and you were sitting in the green room yesterday till it was all over.
Yeah, for some reason I wasn't allowed in the basement, so good thing it didn't. But
I didn't know you were in the building.
I did have the privilege and honor of sheltering in place for a little while.
I would have allowed you in the basement had I known you were here. I didn't even know you were here. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Text to the show says gas prices jumped 20 cents overnight. Who does one talk to about price gouging? The Attorney General, I guess?
Yes, the Attorney General. No. They have. They at least used to. They should have a consumer protection department division there, and that's who one would talk to about price gouging.
Let me ask you about this, because I asked all the other people that were here as well. Despite the efforts of many elected officials and people from the community, the postal facility out at Southridge is closing. But again, got a little bit of hope in talking to the commissioners and talking to Matt Sutton this morning that maybe they just are seeing it as a bump in the road, that are going to continue to fight this thing. Your thoughts?
I'm with them. We're going to continue to fight this thing, and I got that email yesterday as well. It was incredibly disappointing after all of the public outpouring of support for that facility up there in Southridge, that the U.S. Postal Service is continuing to go down this route. We need to keep our facility here in West Virginia. We do not want it to move to Pennsylvania. We want it right here, and we will continue to fight whatever we can to hopefully change their minds.
Hopefully that's the case. We're going to continue with Mike Pushkin after the break. I do want to throw this out there. Originally, I had other guests scheduled for the show. Pushkin was already scheduled, but I had Leslie Grace, who's a candidate for magistrate in Kanawha County, and I talked to Leslie yesterday. Leslie will be on the show now Monday instead to talk about the Grace for Magistrate campaign. Also, I had Mark Curtis scheduled to be on the show today. Mark Curtis, political reporter from WOWK-TV 13. They're doing a gubernatorial debate tonight. Michael. I didn't know whether you knew that or not.
Is that tonight?
The four, I think so. Yeah, the four major candidates are scheduled for that. And
four major candidates. What about my candidate? Won't be on.
Well, this is the Republican candidate. Yeah. Steve Williams will be on a future one, I'm sure. This is the four major Republican candidates that are on. That is, I think Amanda Barron is going to be serving as the master of ceremonies, for lack of a better term, ringleader, whatever the case may be for that. So Mark Curtis graciously, I text Mark yesterday and said, I think we need to talk about storm damage today, but if you get a chance, you may want to tune in tonight and check that out because it's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure you'll be watching.
What time is that?
I think it's 7. I think so.
I'll set the VCR.
And I'm sure you will. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. It's a valuable resource for all. Discover the latest episodes on WVMetronews.com. Under the podcast menu, start your journey towards better health today. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
For years, West Virginia had the most unfair legal system in the nation. Our state was on the judicial hellhole list 13 times in a row. And even though our legislature has made major improvements in legal reform, Attorney General Patrick Morrisey risks all of our progress. Patrick Morrisey has teamed up with greedy personal injury lawyers to sue local job providers. These lawsuits hurt jobs, increase consumer costs, and even threaten broadband expansion. In one recent case, personal injury law firms were paid $151 million. Our state leaders should be protecting our families, not making lawyers rich. Call Attorney General Patrick Morrisey at 304-558-2021. Please encourage him to support local job providers, not sue them. Paid for by West Virginia Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. You can find out more about West Virginia Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse by visiting our website at westvirginiacala.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Our children and families deserve leaders on the Kanawha County Board of Education, and Kate White is a leader that our families can trust. Kate White fights for safer schools for our kids and the best education for our children and teachers in Kanawha County. Kate White is a wife, a mother, and a leader in our community. Kate White understands our families and will deliver a world-class education for all of us. Let's vote for better education and a brighter future in Kanawha County. Let's vote for Kate White for Kanawha County Board of Education. Paid for by the committee to elect Kate White for school board.
Dwayne Duncan is a Republican running for Kanawha County Commission. We know that we can trust Republican Dwayne Duncan to deliver for Kanawha County families. Dwayne Duncan wants lower taxes, more jobs, and will fight the crime problem in Kanawha County. Dwayne Duncan is a Republican and proven job creator. Taxes are too high for Kanawha County. Let's vote to keep more of our hard-earned money. Let's vote for Republican Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Paid for by Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Tori Takubo, Treasurer.
6 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Dirty Birds will host a home run derby at Gomart Ballpark Saturday, April 20th. Gates open at 5:30. Home run derby starting at 6:30. Members of the Dirty Birds team will be matched with local community members. Details to come. Tickets on sale now. DirtyBirdsBaseball.com. Kids 12 and under will get in for free. Mike Pushkin is here with us. What are you hearing as far as storm cleanup from your constituents? I know that you're a guy that's always on the phone checking on your people. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of calls over the past 24 hours, like a lot of us have, and just trying to make sure everybody's okay. Luckily, and it's really nothing short of a miracle that there were so few injuries reported. I mean, if you look at what happened right in the middle of the district I represent, right over on Quarrier Street, with all those bricks blowing off the top of a building, and nobody was hurt there. That's a miracle.
Yeah.
And with all the damage you're seeing, I think there, as far as the countywide goes, in this county, it looks like most of the damage was in Dunbar, South Hills, and Kanawha City.
Still a lot of people without power.
But there are
too.
a lot of people without power, including a lot of folks on the east end. Some residences on the west side, I believe, are still without power, and across the state we have thousands of people without power, and what we're being told is it could be as late as tomorrow night.
Well, and I think,
but I think that's like a
worst case scenario.
Worst, yeah,
but
exactly.
and I think what we want people to understand too is, I mean, everybody, I've been without power during the ratio, even though I didn't live in Charleston, we were without power for over a week. And everybody wants their power restored, but you got to do it when it's safe.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can't put the workers at risk. And right now, we still got some pretty, not what we had yesterday, don't get me wrong, but we still got some pretty stiff winds out there, and there's rain, and it's just not a safe situation for the workers to be out there. I want to ask you about this press conference you guys held a couple days ago. I'm talking about
it seems like a week ago with everything that's happened
with the Democrats. Yeah. But I do have a text for you. It says, Mike, I'm pretty conservative, so I don't vote Dem anymore. That said, to have a supermajority like the Republicans do, it sickens me the lack of real legislation getting done on things such as foster care and adoptive services. Do they realize voters are starting to get fed up? I know you have fought for some of these things, and I appreciate it. I just want meaningful legislation.
Well, I think we all do, and I think the West Virginians deserve that. I don't think it's any secret that West Virginia has a whole host of very important issues that need to be addressed, and this legislative session was far from serious. Unfortunately, it was. They took up all the time arguing over these hot button culture war type issues because it's an election year. Many of them are in primaries, and they're trying to push each other further to the extreme right. But West Virginia needs us to take up things like child care, like foster care. We need to, but that was basically the point of our press conference the other day. We're going into a special session. We have a budget that we know is just falling way short of the needs of West Virginians. We need to readdress that budget, and that was really the point that we were trying to make. Let's stick to what's important. Let's not waste time during a special session, on the taxpayers' dime. Let's not waste time with all these divisive culture war issues. That was our message as House Democrats. And to your texter, say, reconsider that position of never voting Democratic again, because looks like lately we've been the adults in the room. And we've been the ones fighting for working on common sense legislation that's actually needed. Unfortunately, when you have a supermajority, oftentimes they don't do what's needed. They just do what they want. And we need to do what's needed.
Well, the text said, just for clarification, that the person doesn't vote Dem anymore. It didn't say never. They just said they just didn't vote anymore. So, I mean, they could. And this is what I've told my Republican brethren. As easily as you got it, you can lose it. Nobody ever thought that the Democrats would lose control after 83 years either, but they did. And it just as easily turn around. I don't think it's going to take that long.
Well, if they keep it up with what they're doing, I hope people would soon realize that they're not doing the job that needs to be done. And when you're wasting time on meaningless issues, a lot of them didn't even pass. A lot of the culture war stuff, luckily didn't even pass, but it still took up a lot of time. And we weren't able to address things like access and affordability of child care, which is a workforce participation issue. That is something that is keeping people out of the workforce, keeping people from moving, keeping businesses from moving here is the lack of affordability, access to child care. And I could go on, but I hear the music playing.
All right. Mike, I appreciate you being here, man.
Thanks
a lot. And I know that as I said, you've been in contact with your constituents, and you're going to get right back out there at it. So I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to honor your appearance this morning on the show. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
And you're going to stick around to be on Talkline. Do you know what time you'll be on Talkline?
I believe around 10:30.
Around 10:30. So, well, stay out of my office. Stay out of my snack drawer up there, okay? All right. We got to go. Thank you so much to Ryan Nicholson, our producer, and all of our county commissioners, and Goodwin Chief of Staff Matt Sutton for stopping by. Cleanup will continue. Follow the news of the day, WVMetroNews.com and at WCHSNetwork.com. See you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston, 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.